All right, part two. Sorry about trailing off there. It was funny. It's so profound, it's hard for me to hold it in my head. But it's also very basic. It's about our complicity in everything that we complain about. So, in every situation where it may appear that someone is guilty of something and we righteously blame them, we are complicit in something very false and sick. Every time we complain about politicians, corporations, the system, taxes, anything, we are ignoring the fact that we have given away that power. That, in fact, we still hold it. It's insane. It's insane. We are allowing all this stuff to happen and then just shifting the blame. It is our participation in all of these things that we know are wrong that needs to change. I really want to just stop right there. However it happened, I don't feel like I can argue with the fact that, we didn't have to do it this way. We didn't have to bring ourselves to the brink of destruction. Da, da, da. It's not even how I'm trying to say it, really. But it is clear to me that wherever we are excusing our own participation in something we know is wrong because it's difficult or someone else's fault, we're keeping this whole engine of destruction going. So, I've been coming from the clown side of things a little bit more than I am right now. Like, there's an invitation to a great feast and a celebration of change and transformation that anyone who's ready, could come and hang out with me or start their own movie, their own healing circus. So I'll share another piece about how to do that. If this is resonating with you and you're like, yes, I will scale down. Yes, I will give up more decadence as much as I can, repeatedly over and over until I am once again bowing appropriately to the earth, as all of the healthy cultures and peoples have always in the past, until this insanity happened and spread all over the world. And we started believing that we didn't need to bow to the earth. So the how fits so much with my work in learning about the nature of story and myth and context on a global scale. And and walking a listening path rather than a decide and execute path, an emergent path instead. So what we do, because remember in that in part one I said abandon solutionism, solutionary. I'm not cutting on anyone who's using that term. It has its beauty, whatever, like it's great. People are trying all kinds of cool stuff. But point being, like, the specificity here is worth looking at. So anyway, if instead of piecemealing a bunch of cool ideas together, the path is, and this is what Pilar talks about, she's like, I didn't learn this from books. Like, it came as epiphany. So, the details can be filled in. But a beginning can be to open to seeing things as they might be, as they should be, as we hope them to be, as we choose them to be, as we feel called to help them to be. So, for instance, this beautiful little community of Truth or Consequences has a dam above it. What would this place be like if that dam was removed? And I guess I have to say the dams above and below as well. What if the Rio Grande, Rio Bravo, what we call that, this living water, which we may claim to understand something about, but really don't understand its function, its lifeness, its anything. We don't know much. What if it was free again? And let's imagine that humans still lived here. Maybe they had to live uphill. And to me, I see a beautiful mural I want to paint on the side of the Changing Sea. Of the wild water, wetlands, marshiness, with all of the egrets and eagles and little birds. Today, a family of doves came and hung out in the backyard here at the sanctuary. I felt so grateful. They just all hung out in their little community peacefully, what felt to me like joyfully, pecking and scratching, finding something to eat in my backyard. I was glad. And I also finally got to really get the difference between the doves and the pigeons, which was a gift. Pigeons are a lot bigger and often aren't in as big of a group. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say, really, was to imagine things whole, to imagine everyone is healed. We don't have to seek crisis or to help things or whatever. We humble ourselves and scale things down, scale everything down as much as we can, and there's peace in it for us to claim, and healing. And we walk one step at a time with a clarity, like a direction, based on that vision of what might or should be, what we want to be. And we humbly take one step at a time in that direction, and really with an openness, a listening and absorbency, to understand, to receive more of this awareness toward rebalancing, toward removing thorns, towards, I mean, at the very least, towards stopping all the destruction. So there are things that are obvious to do. Pilar gave us very clear direction as an elder for the change in space. She said, continue giving away clothes. Is there food being shared? You know, and are we growing food? So grow food and share everything and get people outside and engaged. Use all the public spaces to share and to create space for something different to happen. And she's also calling for the only kind of support group she thinks is worth our time, worth the Earth's time, which is support groups for those of us who are committing to scaling down. And, you know, I hope you can tell that this isn't like just like a protocol without heart. It's a very human, like we get to do this together as human beings, or with yourself if you want to do it alone. But to hold each other and tend each other while we're, you know, accepting responsibility for our complicity and all of that stuff and choosing to do something else. So, yay, excellence. Hey, I love everybody. I'm not here to like shame and blame or whatever, but this is for real for me. And like I said in my last video or one before, my invitations are real. You know, like my little bus can become a caravan or start your own, because it's time for the healing circus. There isn't something else we need to do, really. Like, quit your job and join the circus. I love you. I'll be down here until further notice. Peace.